Welcome to the Tea Huddle with Marissa and Kelly, your only source for gridiron gossip. So this week is a little bit of a special occasion, not just because it's Thanksgiving, but also because after 41 episodes, it was bound to happen eventually, but we have our first sub this week. Kelly was not able to be here with us, so we have, for a very special occasion, our producer Christian is joining us and taking Kelly's seat here at the Tea Huddle table. Welcome, Christian.
Hello, hi. It's great to be at the Tea Huddle. I'm gonna do my best to do Kelly some justice and not mansplain football.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear a man explaining how football works to a woman, especially because now I know everything about football. So there's nothing left to explain.
You're a pro.
Exactly. Yeah, so Christian is our producer. The Tea Huddle is a team of 3. Me, Marissa, Kelly, and Christian. Christian's usually the one telling us to lean closer to our mics.
You better stay on that this time.
And editing out when we make mistakes.
And when you go, can you click your tongue like that?
So everyone say thank you, Christian, for removing every time I click my tongue. And for all the funny Instagram videos he makes. If you haven't seen those yet, find us at the Tea Huddle on Instagram. But enough about that. We're going to go for it.
You got to go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to.
So we are now going to get back to business as usual, except this time Christian is going to give us Kelly's rundown for everything that happened in week 12 of the NFL season.
So in week 12, the Chiefs almost lost to the lowly Panthers. Almost gave them a second loss. The Bears had yet another last-second embarrassing loss. It's tough being the Bears right now. The Cowboys surprised everybody and upset their divisional rivals, the Commanders, who had one of the worst special teams games in the history of football. We will talk about that later. And the mighty Saquon Barkley puts up another big game of big numbers for the Eagles in Sunday Night Football.
Big numbers for the Eagles and big numbers for my fantasy team. Saquon Barkley gave me 50 fantasy points, which we're not here to discuss my personal fantasy victories, but I did clinch the playoffs.
Yeah, he also smoked me in my fantasy league, so that really put me to bed on Sunday.
You win some, you lose some.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Before we talk about Saquon's victory and the subsequent tragedy that he has left the Giants with since his departure and that Hard Knocks clip that just won't die, the gift that keeps giving. Before we get to all of that, we're going to jump into our top stories of the week. And the first one is that it was a big news week in the Kelce household. We obviously all know Kylie Kelce, one of our favorite wags, although I guess a former wag.
I mean, she's still a wife or a girlfriend, but I guess we
yeah.
call her a former wag.
She's a wag of a former player rather than a wag of...
We can call her a wag.
Yeah. Well, earlier this week, she announced on Instagram that she and Jason are expecting their 4th child together and that they're going 4 for 4 with daughters.
Yeah, they were probably hoping for a boy on this last one.
He gave a very positive interview about how excited he is for a 4th daughter. So maybe, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the all-female household is working for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously happy with it.
Definitely.
But it's like, I feel like when you go for the 4th, you're hoping to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, they did not mix it up. Just as a refresh, Jason and Kylie have been together since 2015. They got married in 2018, welcomed their first daughter in 2019, and then here we are in 2024 with a 4th daughter on the way. And as if that announcement wasn't enough for the week, a couple days after that, Kylie announced that she is starting a podcast of her own called Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelce. It's produced by the same company that runs New Heights. They're called Wave Sports and Entertainment. And I guess the Kelce household had a conversation with one of us just signed a $100 million podcast contract. They're asking you to do one.
Yeah, who knows if she actually wants to do this. I feel like Kylie's getting talked into every commercial spot and this and every appearance.
Because that Kelce Brothers documentary that was filmed around when they were both in the Super Bowl before they were household names, her character in that was very much like, I want to be in the background. I don't want to do this documentary. I don't want to be on your podcast. This isn't what I signed up for. But She has her own podcast, so
Yeah, I mean, in that doc, she did seem like sort of skeptical about even being on camera, and she seemed like, even though they're obviously wealthy, was like careful with money, and
yeah.
like wasn't super into the whole public sphere of it all. But I guess she's singing a different tune now if she's like this happy to be the host of her own podcast.
In the trailer that just came out a couple days ago, she talks about like what the different names were going to be. One of them was "Fuck Around and Find Out" with Kylie Kelsey. She talks about
That would have been funny. That's a great title.
Yeah, she said she might still do it.
Yeah, she's gonna have 2 podcasts.
Yeah. She talks about like she's going to talk about her parenting philosophy, and then she says that she's the last one who would have expected that she would have a podcast. But if everyone is going to be talking about her family, you might as well hear it from her. I don't know that I totally agree with that logic, because like if your whole podcast is just going to be clearing up rumors about your family, that's like 4 minutes a week.
No, that's a convenient spin.
Yes.
For her to say, yeah, I'm not buying that.
And in the trailer, she says that she's going to have guests on, and she says something like people who I have no business talking to. Is that hinting that Taylor is going to make her podcast debut?
I mean, do you think? Like, she hasn't even been on Travis's.
I know, but he doesn't need her for the clicks. I don't know that Kylie does either, but like,
Yeah, I feel like Kylie is gonna scoop up this like a whole different market, sort of the market that we're trying to get with the tea huddle.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that was like, finally someone who can dethrone the Hawk Tuah girl.
Please.
I
mean, I haven't listened, but how good could it be?
It's not. I've listened. I had to find out who Pookie was.
Yeah, right. The big news of the year.
The world was waiting.
Yeah, who is Pookie? Is it a bunch of really famous people, or the one random dude that she grew up with?
A plumber from her hometown. But I'm going to listen to Kylie's just to see what's up. I feel like, I don't know that I'll listen to every single week, but maybe.
But if she has Taylor, that's big news.
Huge. She's the most famous woman in the world.
Yeah.
And her soon-to-be sister-in-law, perhaps. We hope.
We hope. But all of this to say, I'm sort of ragging on Kylie Kelsey for not being genuine here. We do love her. She actually was nominated in our award ceremony called the Teacups, and she was one of the best wags. She lost narrowly to Kristen Juszczyk, who we are big fans of. But we do love Kylie. We're excited for this podcast. I'm just not sure if she like actually wants to do it or not.
Yeah, we love Kylie. We love Kristen. We love all the wags, except for that Buffalo Bills wag that was rude to Taylor Swift on Instagram last week. Don't love her.
We've got a couple bones to pick with a couple wags, but
mostly we love them all.
Well, mostly we love them all. This next segment is about one of our least favorite characters in the drama that is this sport. Aaron Rodgers has found yet another way to make headlines.
Another way to be annoying.
Yeah, really another way to be annoying. So the story is right now that he has refused to take certain health scans that might reveal some injuries that would put him on IR. We aren't really sure what the details are here. He did just come on his best buddy show, Pat McAfee's podcast, to try to clear some things up, but it's really some typical Aaron Rodgers vague wording and sort of deflecting and pointing fingers elsewhere. According to him, he hasn't refused anything, but also apparently the rule is that there are no mandates to take these scans. So I guess he's technically abiding by the rules here.
It's like if you don't test, you don't have cases,
Yeah.
is sort of the logic
Yeah.
that it seems like we're working with. Like if you don't prove that you have an injury, you can't be put on injured reserve.
Yes, exactly. So even though it's annoying, I've sort of come to the conclusion that this is like no harm, no foul. It's not like the Jets have a better quarterback.
Yeah.
And if he's injured and playing through it, then, that's the best case you're going to get. It's like the Jets are not making the playoffs. The Jets are going to suck next year. So if he gets roasted and just like breaks an already bad knee or whatever,
it's only on him. He's not making somebody else play through an injury. He's playing through his own injury, perhaps.
Yes, but it's just like classic Rodgers sort of denying modern science, I guess.
Well, the thing that I thought was interesting when I first saw that he was refusing medical scans, it reminded me from the Jets season of Hard Knocks when he said that he wouldn't wear AirPods because of the dangerous EMF.
Yeah, it's gonna give you 5G in your blood or some.
Right, and so
crap.
he was like ragging on Zach Wilson and told him to wear wired AirPods. So I was like, I wonder if it's less about not wanting to prove you have an injury and more about not wanting scans that aren't mandated because of
some gamma rays or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm positive there's some of that there. He is so vague about everything that he rarely gives you anything to actually work with.
We talked about this a while ago, but the Netflix docuseries Aaron Rodgers: Enigma. When is it coming out? Hold on, let's see. December 17th. That's soon. I personally can't wait. I know that he's annoying and he's like unlikable. I'm ready to see that documentary. See what's going on behind the curtain.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to watch it. I'm also skeptical that he is the wizard behind the curtain here, and it's gonna be a fluff piece
and trick us into thinking something about him
that
he wants us to.
Exactly. Even the Hard Knocks about the Jets that he had nothing to do with. It made him look really good.
It really did. I was like, this guy is great.
The only weird thing he said was about UFOs, which like that's sort of funny to me. All the other weird shit he says, I think sucks. Like, okay, you like UFOs, great.
He did seem very, I don't know if paternal is the word, but like eager to be a big brother to the team, and I liked that. But now it sounds like he's getting everybody fired behind the scenes.
Totally. And we did hear that he was sort of misrepresented on Hard Knocks with Zach Wilson. Apparently him being the sort of father figure to Zach was bullshit. He was like distant and
like a real father.
Maybe his real father.
Just kidding, not my real father. Just some hypothetical people's fathers.
Yeah. Maybe that's how Rodgers would treat his kids.
Well, he has no relationship with his own father.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's neither here nor there. But apparently during the season when Zach Wilson was playing and he was on the sidelines, he was not some father figure coach who was helping him along through this tough process.
Well, NFL Films had a different story to tell.
They did. I think there was a pretty vested interest in like making Rodgers this American hero that they really tried to do, and that lasted about 4 snaps.
Yeah.
5 if you include the Achilles.
That was good.
Thanks. I just came up with that. So the Jets aren't the only New York City team to be really struggling. The Giants actually probably have deeper woes than the Jets do right now. They have recently cut Daniel Jones, and
I was shocked.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like they have better options. And although I don't know, it was looking pretty bad with DJ.
But as somebody who watched the off-season Hard Knocks Giants in the off-season, whatever it was called, which we'll talk about because that clip where they talk about Saquon is just so good. But they were like, we are putting all of our eggs in Daniel Jones' basket. We are making every decision in the front office based on Daniel Jones being our guy. And week 11, they said, you know what? He's not our guy. we got no guy. We have no guys.
Yeah.
They have, you guys, the Giants have no guys.
They have no guys. They have Mr. Italian Spaghetti, Tommy DeVito, who is just actually the real loser here for me is Drew Lock, who is just confused and left alone, while the clown show just runs around and doesn't score touchdowns.
But I think it's what Kelly said last week is that they're not trying to win.
Yeah.
They're trying to get a better draft pick.
Exactly. Well, it's funny. Those Tommy DeVito wins last year were what knocked them out of draft contention to get a good pick. Like, if they were trying to do that last year, they failed with Tommy DeVito. So we'll see. They've already lost this game, and it looks like they're going to keep tanking. We have some rumors that Daboll and their GM Joe Schoen very well might not be on the field. Actually, we are so close to their Thanksgiving game that I imagine they'll make it through this Thursday game. And if they lose, which they probably will, although they're playing the fucking Cowboys, if they lose, Daboll and the GM Schoen very well might be looking for new jobs.
GM Joe Schoen, we know all about him because he got basically his own reality show with that season of Hard Knocks. It followed his decision making, him pursuing his team, and him deciding not to keep Saquon.
Yeah, imagine just like being told by your bosses that you now have a camera crew that's going to follow you around your job and is going to film you when you're making really important business decisions, and one of those ends up being terrible.
Such a bad choice, and millions of people before it's revealed how bad of a choice it is are going to dissect everything you do at your job and like sit on their couch and announce that they could do it better. Except it seems like maybe people could have done it better because if you haven't seen the clip,
his kids could have done it better. They wanted to keep Saquon.
Yeah, and they wanted JJ McCarthy, right? Yeah. That's because he's
cute. Or Jaden Daniels.
I think that his daughter wanted JJ because he's cute.
Yeah.
But on Monday Night Football, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were talking about Saquon's game from the previous night, from Sunday night, and they just sort of go in talking about this Hard Knocks clip. So John Mara, the owner of the Giants, talks about how he's going to have a hard time sleeping at night if Saquon goes to Philly. And
a clip that might live in infamy for the rest of our lives.
It's so funny. He says, John Mara, if he had a little heartburn when Saquon left and signed with the Eagles, you can only imagine the heartburn he has watching him do what he's done. John Mara's got to be so sick of that clip and hearing about, I'm not going to sleep if he goes to Philly. Well, he's in Philly and he looks like one of the best running backs ever to visit this planet.
Oh, boy.
So I do feel like probably they're going to ask Joe Schoen to no longer do his job with them.
Yeah. The Hard Knocks is the worst thing that's ever happened to this man. His flaws and his mistakes just got blasted to the public, and I would guess that Dable keeps his job. Schoen gets fired. Yeah,
based on what?
I think he's got some respect in the organization, and they have gone through a lot of coaches who they don't like. He's definitely made some mistakes in coaching decisions, but it does seem like if you're trying to show your fan base that you're doing something, firing your GM might just be good enough, especially if it looks like you're probably going to get a good pick next year and you can give Dable another shot.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll be tuned in.
We will see, unless Bill Belichick rears his head and decides he wants to coach the fucking Giants.
I can't wait to see if they do another offseason of Hard Knocks and who it's going to be. And if the teams get a say in it, because why would anyone agree to this?
No one's going to want to now.
But I hope that it's not up to them.
I don't think so. I don't think Joe Schoen wanted to do this. I think NFL Films was like, here's a camera crew. They're allowed in your office whenever they want.
Yeah. It's great TV.
Oh, yeah. And then I meant to mention this before, we have Malik Neighbors in his last interview after the game, after the loss. He's really just nailing this whole wide receiver bit that it usually takes people takes wide receivers a few seasons to be jaded and angry and talking shit on their coaches
and acting like they're better than the whole team.
Exactly, and throwing your coach under the bus. I mean, maybe he knows that Dable's on the way out, because when an interviewer in the locker room asked him about his lack of production, he said, "You're gonna have to talk to Daves about that one." Daves. As a non-Giants fan, I love this. I love that Malik Neighbors is going to Travis Scott shows while in concussion protocol, and is throwing his own head coach under the bus. Like, to me, this is pure entertainment. So, like, I'm down.
And here in the Tea Huddle, we're here for the entertainment.
Yeah.
Make your plays, score your touchdowns, but like give us a off-field show.
Give it some fucking juice, baby.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Speaking of juice, I am so excited.
You're so psyched.
For our first segment, because this story that we're about to revisit was one of the things that made me realize football can be interesting, and it has nothing to do with the sport. It has to do with the off-field goss.
It's the perfect story for you.
Which brings us all here today, the off-field goss.
So we are going to checking in with Baker Mayfield suing his brother and father.
That is right. You heard that right. So last year, August of 2023, Baker Mayfield and his wife filed a petition against Camwood Ventures to produce financial records from 2018 to 2023 to show what happened to $12 million of his dollars.
It's a lot of dollars.
So we covered this, I think, episode 3 of the Tea Huddle well over a year ago.
It was a final goss.
It was a final goss because it was like, oh, this is something juicy that's happening.
And we didn't really, it was like rumors. We didn't really know what was going on.
Yes. Well, we knew, so a lawsuit wasn't filed, but a court petition was filed. I had to Google what is a court petition. And it was before I knew any players, any teams, what's going on. But when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's suing his father. Like, all of a sudden, this is much more interesting. But he wasn't suing him yet, but he is now. Spoiler alert. So, like I said, he filed a petition against Camwood Ventures. So that is a financial institution that his father, James Mayfield, is the majority owner of, and his brother, Matt, is also a stakeholder of. So that 2023 court filing read, from January 2018 through the present, which was back in 2023, more than $12 million was transferred from the petitioner's personal accounts and routed through various entities and investment. At this time, petitioners have been deprived of the information and documents needed to analyze whether their assets have been misappropriated. So, like, he's just saying, like, hey, Dad, like, maybe you misappropriated $12 million of my dollars, but produce these records and let's find out. Then we didn't hear a peep about it for a full calendar year.
So then, yeah. So maybe that was the chance for Dad to come clean and smooth this over and like not get into a public lawsuit.
Totally. To be either like, oh, you don't understand investments. This is what happened. It's like a full, really easy explanation. Or to be like, let's not do this. Like, let's.
Yeah. Like walk it back and pay the man.
Yes.
But for a little backstory, Baker was drafted in 2018 and is estimated to have made more than $48 million during his 5 years in the league.
2018, that's when this financial saga begins. So his dad was like, ooh, you got signed to the NFL. Let's take all your money.
Wow.
Allegedly. Got to throw in an allegedly in there. Although it's like not alleged, it's happening. Anyway, so it wasn't a lawsuit. And we heard nothing at all about it until this week. Earlier this week, Baker Mayfield and his wife, Emily, filed a lawsuit against Camwood. That's the company that his dad is the majority owner of, claiming that in the past year, when we didn't know what was going on, the two sides had reached a confidential settlement, but that the terms have not been fulfilled. So the lawsuit states that Camwood took $12.2 million from Baker and his wife without their knowledge. They just took the money from his accounts and transferred it to several subsidiaries from 2018 to 2021 and alleges that the money was used to cover operating expenses of the business. So like his business was floundering, so he stole his son's money to try to make good on it. And I guess was hoping he'd be able to repay it before they noticed. Didn't happen. So once this all came to a head and they reached the confidential settlement, the biggest term of the settlement was that $11.7 million plus interest had to be repaid to Baker and his wife beginning this past September, and that they had to have access to Camwood's books. So this past week in the lawsuit, his attorney claims that not only has he not received access to the books, he has not received a single dollar of the $11.7 million.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So he's coming for you, Dad. It's Thanksgiving. It's so sad. Like, it is actually really sad that money tears families apart, because I was going through Baker's Instagram. First of all, he and his wife had their first child earlier this year. I'm sure Grandpa James is not seeing that baby.
No way. Yeah, the baby's first Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The last time that Baker posted a photo on his Instagram with his brother was 2021, which is, it says when the money was taken was from 2018 to 2021. And the last time he posted a picture with his brother and his dad was in 2019. It just makes me sad that he probably has no relationship with his family anymore.
Yeah, especially if you're just going full on lawsuit. You're just trying to get that money back, and it's not like you can smooth this over anymore.
It sounds like he tried though. So like he filed the court petition. There was a private settlement being like, okay, out of the public eye, you'll pay me back. We'll be good. And then you didn't pay me back. So now I'm going to make it public. I'm going to sue your ass.
I mean, the company was floundering, so they probably just blew this money and didn't even have it to give back.
Yeah. Well, then they shouldn't have agreed in September to give it back.
Yeah.
The only thing he said about it publicly was last year in 2023. when the petition was filed, he said, "I'll say this. It's been a long time coming for that. I'm not going to comment on any details, but yeah, I've been dealing with that stuff for years now. So mentally, I'm in a much better headspace. So yeah, we're ready to roll." So it sounds sort of like he's come to terms with like that he's in a better headspace after filing the petition rather than being upset after filing it.
Yeah, it's probably the beginning of a lot of closure for him.
Yeah.
To just get this over with. I mean, he's having the best season of his career while this is all happening in the background. So
Yeah.
Props to him for really killing it with the Bucks right now.
Yeah, and compartmentalizing his personal familial turmoil.
Yeah, and giving a quote tribute unquote to Tommy DeVito.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for anyone who didn't see when he scored a touchdown this past week, he sort of mimicked aggressively the Tommy DeVito Mamma Mia hands. And
in MetLife Stadium nonetheless.
Yeah. It felt a little antagonizing.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a tribute. He was fucking with them.
But he's got a lot going on, so
Oh no, I'm on Baker's side here fully. I love that guy.
Well, we'll keep everybody posted, but I've like thought about this over the past year. Like, I wonder what's going on with Baker and his dad. I wonder what's going on with Baker's money. And now we know.
So yeah, there we go.
He got robbed by his dad. That's so fucked up.
Yeah, really. So when this lawsuit is settled, we might check in again.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know.
And now it's time for our next segment, our personal favorite, and we think a fan favorite as well. It's time to step out of the car.
Step out of the car. DeMarcus Robinson, step out of the car.
I've always wanted to do that.
Now you have to take your own voice and put it through that sound effect.
Exactly. DeMarcus Robinson, who's a wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, was arrested in L.A. on Sunday night after their loss to the Eagles on suspicion of DUI. He apparently was driving his car over 100 miles an hour.
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
At 5 a.m. And then...
Why are you going anywhere at 5 a.m. at 100 miles an hour?
Yeah. What's the fucking rush?
You're still out from the night before, allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, yeah. He was going grocery shopping. And you're just ripping... I don't know what kind of car he has, but it obviously goes fast. He got pulled over and refused to take a breathalyzer, which... I think makes cops more suspicious when you do that. But so they arrested him on suspicion of DUI, which I sort of think the penalties for that are way more lenient than actual DUIs. And then just today, Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams, chimed in, said they're still gathering information about the arrest. He said, "I do believe DeMarcus has a good heart and never would have any ill intentions. And clearly there was a decision that was not in alignment with the things we want to be about."
Word salad.
Yeah, really. Just like buzzword. Ill intentions. I mean...
Driving 100 miles an hour after drinking is an ill intention. Like,
yeah.
Think about anybody who's...
That's like fatalistic.
Yeah.
I really don't get that. So, and yeah, McVay said, I know he's remorseful about that. We'll see if this guy starts this week.
He did get a touchdown in the game before he got pulled over. So maybe he was out celebrating for 7 hours.
Yeah, he was celebrating his touchdown.
By ruining his career. Just kidding. It won't ruin his career. If anything, nothing's probably going to happen at all. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, this guy's fine. He's the third receiver on the Rams squad. But he still does pretty well. He has 26 catches for 384 yards and 6 touchdowns at the moment. And he's started all 11 games, so I do not doubt that he will start the 12th. And fun fact, I just learned that his uncle, Marcus Robinson, played for the Bears in like 1997 and the 2000s.
We love a fun fact. There's almost nothing more I love than a fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. So the nephew of Marcus Robinson is DeMarcus Robinson.
All right. Well, seeing as it is Thanksgiving, we have a returning segment called Kelly's Turkeys. But since we do not have Kelly, Christian is going to step in and give us his bonehead plays of the year.
we got a bunch of bonehead plays. I'm going to start with something that Kelly probably would start with. Seeing as we're both Patriots fans, Jalen Polk, he's a turkey because he's just dropped so many balls and has basically dropped his way to the sidelines. He had 3 drops in his first 6 games, a really high drop percentage. When he was criticized about it, he said in an interview that he has the NFL's best hands.
I think that makes him a turkey more than dropping the balls. It's like being an arrogant fool about it. Like, who has the NFL's best hands? Somebody who doesn't drop all the balls.
Yeah, like you're getting good passes from like these were not like uncatchable balls. They were like right in the breadbasket, and he's just turning too early, or I don't know what he's doing, but he was dropping a lot of balls, and he also would blame the coaching staff for how they were utilizing him. You're the wide receiver, and you're getting throws, like you're getting looks.
Receive them.
Yeah, please.
You're a turkey.
Please God. Yeah, you're a turkey. Next up, we have the coach of the Buccaneers, Todd Bowles. So this one's a little controversial, whether he's the turkey or not, but I really think he is. During that really exciting rain game between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs, he decided not to go for 2 for the win against the Chiefs in the final seconds of the game. They kicked it to tie it, and then, of course, Mahomes wins the coin toss, gets the ball, marches down, scores a touchdown. Bucs don't even see the ball in overtime. And it's sort of exactly what Troy Aikman was saying was going to happen when they decided to kick an extra point to tie it instead of going for 2 to win it. I get that it's tough to take one play in the pouring rain against the Chiefs defense and score, but your chances were much higher to win that game, and it would have been fucking glorious to beat the Chiefs in that fashion instead of basically leaving it to a coin toss. When Mahomes won the coin toss, you saw Baker's reaction. He like flailed his arms, looked up at the sky, and was like, he knew they were fucked, and they were.
Going for 2, very controversial. People criticize when you do it. They criticize when you don't do it.
Yeah, it's tough to call this guy a turkey because he did the safe thing, but against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs,
makes you a turkey.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, Todd. It makes you a turkey. You're a turkey. I do like that guy. Next, we have sad turkey. I feel bad for this guy. Jerzon Newton is a rookie defensive tackle for the Washington Commanders, and I don't know if he's more of a turkey or Mike Tomlin is more of an offensive genius. Regardless of how you cut it, Jerzon was fooled by Mike Tomlin when they attempted to go for it on 4th down in the final seconds of a game. He flinched and gave the Steelers a new set of downs, so then they could just run out the clock. He lost the game by committing a neutral zone infraction. Do you remember that? He was really upset. He was.
Oh, did he cry? I hate when they cry.
I think he might have cried. He was very sad. It was totally his fault.
Oh, I get upset when they're upset.
Yeah, it was a tough loss because they would have gotten the ball back and had a whole minute to try to win it, and they just didn't even get that. They just handed the Steelers the win right there.
Can I tell you a fun fact about Jerzon?
Absolutely.
He has 4 brothers. Can I tell you what their names are?
Jerzon, and Jerzon.
Jervon, Jerquan, Jerjon, and Jershwan.
No way.
Swear to God. Did you know that?
No, this is awesome.
Yep.
Wow. I love that. Okay, well, do they play football?
They do, not professionally. One of them has the top 10 in career touchdown receptions for the Toledo Rockets.
Okay.
I don't know who they are. Oh, University of Toledo College. And his cousin's name is Pro Wells. First name Pro, last name Wells. That's
Okay.
a sick name, too.
Yeah, jeez.
He played tight end for the Philadelphia Stars in the USFL.
All right.
So, yes, they do all play football.
Well,
and they all have basically the same name, but a little bit different.
A little different. We love the Newton family. And after this win for the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, he was asked if they were actually going to go for it. And he laughed sort of maniacally and said, "We'll never know, will we? You know I'm a degenerate."
Oh.
And, I mean, that guy's been fielding questions at pressers for 20 years, so he can get a little wacky with it.
I guess so.
Our next turkey comes from this past week in Week 12. We mentioned it in the rundown. Commanders kicker Austin Seibert shanks a game-tying extra point to essentially give his team the loss. It was at the end of the game. The extra points aren't that far away. They're further away than they used to be, but did you know that they moved them back?
I sure did not.
Yeah, they moved them back to make it a little harder.
When?
Probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit more.
So this guy's whole career. Like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
only been kicking extra points at this.
I'd imagine. I'm not sure how old Austin Seibert is, but
He's 28. He was born in 1996.
oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely think he's only been kicking him at this distance.
He was drafted in 2019. I have no fun facts about him nor his family.
Yeah, kickers aren't always the most interesting. Although Justin Tucker is an opera singer.
Yeah, and that one who sold bricks.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, brick salesman on the Lions.
Yeah, the
your,
Lions.
Yeah, your boy
Yeah,
on the Lions.
my boy.
But this game was riddled with bad special teams play. So this was sort of an appropriate end of the game. But actually, it wasn't the end. Seibert, after missing the extra point, he then attempts an onside kick. It bounced twice. The Cowboys pick it up and ran it into the end zone to squeeze a little extra lemon juice onto that wound. So yeah, that handed the Cowboys a win that they desperately needed.
And handed Austin Seibert the title of a turkey.
You're a turkey.
They moved the point in 2015.
Okay.
Well, they didn't move the point. They moved the place where you kick for the point.
Right. Thanks for fact checking that.
Yeah.
Um,
We're all producers today.
Everyone's a producer. One fun fact about this game: this was the first NFL game in history to feature 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, 2 errant extra points, and a blocked punt. So just a lot of bad special teams play out there.
So they could all be turkeys.
Yeah, you're all turkeys.
Yeah.
on the Cowboys too. You're all turkeys. We've got maybe our biggest turkey. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have a final turkey that we pardon at the end of this
That's
segment.
good.
But right now, this Tyreek Stevenson, the Bears cornerback.
Yeah.
We talked about this boy.
I knew this was coming.
Yep, he was. Yeah, you can't have turkeys in this season of the NFL without talking about him celebrating near the end zone during the final seconds of their game against the Commanders. Jaden Daniels rips a Hail Mary. Tyreek realizes he is out of position, scrambles back, and tips the ball to a Commanders player for a score in the end zone to end the game in glorious fashion.
He wasn't just not in position. He was like celebrating his win.
Oh, yeah. He was like taunting the crowd,
Yeah.
as if he was like hyping up fans. There weren't many Bears fans there, I don't think. But then, like, he might as well. We talked about this. He might as well have stayed there taunting
Out of the way.
because when he scrambled in and just tried to get a hand on the ball, all he did was flip it to a Commanders player to end the game.
Oops.
And for that,
Turkey time.
and for that, you're a turkey. It's turkey time, Tyreek. And we do have we have one more. It's sort of a general turkey, similar to Jalen Polk. It's Will Levis. He's just memed himself, and he's thrown so many interceptions, especially given the game-winning ball to Chicago. He threw a pick 6 earlier in the season. That was maybe the worst decision we have seen by a quarterback this season. He was just getting sacked and just freaked out and decided to huck the ball. It goes right into the hands of the Bears, and they walk it in. I think the Titans had a significant lead that game, and this gave it all to the Bears.
He might still be dating Victoria F. from The Bachelor, though. He definitely was at one point. It's unclear if they still are.
Good for him, and he's getting that Hellman's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's going to need it. I don't think that guy's going to play football very long.
Oh.
I mean, he'll be a backup, I think, for 10 years, and we'll see him pop in every once in a while when somebody gets injured.
And he'll pop in. He'll make a meme. He'll pop back out.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, he's good for the memes. That's his addition to the NFL this season.
All right. So those are all of Kelly's turkeys. Thanks for delivering them to us, Christian. But we're going to pardon one turkey as as is Thanksgiving tradition, what turkey are we pardoning?
So we're pardoning our biggest turkey.
Who's our biggest turkey? Is it Daniel Jones?
We got some real turkey. I mean, he wasn't even on this list, but he should be. We've talked a lot about Daniel Jones, so I'm giving him a break this time.
Fair.
No, we're gonna have to go with the cornerback and the Bears, Tyreek Stevenson. You are the biggest turkey, but for that you get pardoned. We're gonna pardon you.
Lucky you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Run free.
And that brings us to our final goss.
Final goss.
Have you always wanted to say that?
Always wanted to say that one too.
Well, thanks for the lead-in. This week's Final Goss is an update on a former player / reality star. So Jay Cutler, who maybe a lot of you know because he was an NFL quarterback for 12 seasons, or you're like me and you know Jay Cutler because he was married to Laguna Beach and the Hills star Kristen Cavallari and was seen on her short-lived reality show, Very Cavallari. That's how I know him. Well, he and Kristen were married for 7 years. They have 3 kids together. They split in 2020. We could see the writing on the wall on Very Cavallari. It didn't seem like they were going the distance, but he is now engaged once again. Earlier this week, it was announced that Jay Cutler is engaged to his girlfriend of about a year, Samantha Robertson. Samantha Robertson was previously married to Trace Ayala, who Us Weekly refers to as an actor. But if you go to his IMDb page, his only acting credits are like as himself on Justin Timberlake's episode of Punk'd, which I Googled further. It's because him and Justin Timberlake are childhood friends and he was just like there while Justin got punked. That does not make you an actor.
No,
Us
no.
Weekly. But he's Justin Timberlake's best friend and he co-founded his clothing brand, William Rast, with Justin. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Justin or Trace Ayala. We're here to talk about his ex-wife, Samantha Robertson, who is Jay Cutler's new fiancée. The timing of this, I think, is a little bit interesting because just last month, Jay Cutler was arrested for DUI and possession of a firearm. He was driving his car around 5 p.m. in Franklin, Tennessee, where he lives, when he rear-ended another vehicle. And apparently he offered the driver $2,000 not to call the police, which they did anyway. When the police arrived, they detected the smell of alcohol and noted he had bloodshot eyes and was slurring his words. They found 2 firearms in his vehicle, including a loaded pistol. He refused a field sobriety test, just like Demarcus Robinson. But they brought Jay Cutler to the hospital and I guess got like a court order for a blood test to prove that he was in fact under the influence. He was booked and then released on $5,000 bail and is due back in court in January. But until then, he can celebrate his engagement because he's newly engaged. He was seen earlier this month at a Yellowstone, like the show Yellowstone, premiere event. And his girlfriend was wearing a big giant rock on her finger. And then this week it was made public that they're engaged. She has 2 kids from a previous marriage. He has 3. So they'll have a little Brady Bunch family and maybe they'll all join him for his court appearance in January.
It's probably not his first, right?
No, I think it's his first.
Really? He always seemed like a real party hound.
Yes.
I'm surprised that guy hasn't gotten in more trouble.
Let me make sure. Yeah, that's it.
I guess
Possession of a handgun under the influence is a charge of its own. And failure to exercise due care to avoid a collision. Just sounds like getting in a car accident. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like, is this like good PR to distract? Like people love, you're getting engaged. Just like very quick after your legal troubles.
He's never struck me as somebody who really cares too much about controlling the PR machine, but especially since he's been out of the NFL. But
then he was on a reality show. He didn't seem like he wanted to be on that reality show at all.
Yeah, I think that guy just wants to hang out and drink beers.
Shoot his gun. His fiance's Instagram pages, it's a lot about, I think they love to hunt together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they love rifles. But, you know, we're excited for them. They've found each other. Kristen had said when she was on Call Her Daddy, she said, I really hope he does remarry. I want him to be happy. It's like good for my kids if he's happy. So she's happy, they're happy, we're happy. Everyone's happy.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think that does it for this episode of the Tea Huddle.
Christian, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been an honor to be here. This was a lot of fun.
Kelly, we miss you. We can't wait to see you soon.
And happy birthday, Mom. and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you guys are having fun drinking and eating turkey and watching football.
As always, come find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube at The Tea Huddle. And we'll be back next week. We'll see you all then.
And until then, stay juicy.
Nailed it.
Yeah.